Hi, welcome to my video on how to make garlic butter mushrooms. So what you're going to need today is obviously mushrooms, I've already washed them, butter, salt and pepper, dried basil leaves, and garlic. After you've done that, we can get started with the recipe. So what you're going to want to do is take your mushrooms and cut the caps off of them and leave it like that. Don't pull the cap out of the center, just cut the cap off until the very edge of the mushroom hat? No. One of the reasons you don't pull out the stem completely is because if you did, then there would be a huge hole in the mushroom. And if you had that huge hole, all the garlic butter would be going into the hole, and it would just make it a little soggier and harder to eat. So it's better just to cut it straight across. Now that you've finished cutting, you're going to want to set up the mushrooms onto a baking sheet for when they go into the oven. Always make sure to line your baking sheets with tinfoil, so that way they don't, it doesn't make a huge mess onto the baking sheet, because especially with this recipe, because it's butter, cleaning up would be a real pain. So it's much easier just to have this so you can rip it off and throw it away. Now that we've got the mushrooms out of the way, it's time to start mincing the garlic. I'm using about 7 cloves. You can pick how many you want depending on how much you like garlic. I really like garlic, so this is on the more side of garlic for this recipe. You could take it down to like 5 if you wanted to. So first, we're going to chop up each end of the garlic and then crack it so the skin, no, that's not what it's called, I'm not sure, can be taken off really easily. So I'm just going to not chop my hand off. And you want to make sure you really don't just chop it and mince it, because we want the garlic to evenly distribute throughout the butter, so you don't want big chunks. After you've finished mincing your garlic, and I just dropped some, you're going to want to go ahead and melt about one third cup of butter. So after your butter is melted, you're going to want to work fast, because if you don't, then it's going to cool down and it's just not going to spread evenly onto the mushrooms. So first, you're going to want to add 1/4 teaspoon of basil, dried basil leaves. It's enough. And then same with the salt, 1/4. And finally for the pepper, I have it in this kind of thing, so I can't really measure it easily, so I'm just gonna estimate, but it is supposed to be 1/4 teaspoon too. After all is said and done, you just add in the garlic and mix it all together. Mix it well so everything spreads evenly. Be careful about how much basil you add, because it can get really strong really fast. Now this is the fun part. You get to just pour all of this over your mushrooms, but be careful because you don't want to be uneven with the amount of garlic and butter you add. Don't use too much in the beginning, because then by the end you won't have enough, and then you'll have to go back and scoop some more, or you'll have to melt more butter, and that's never fun. I usually have to do that because I usually don't spread it out evenly enough, but I think this time it will be fine. You see over here how the garlic and butter is all going into here, because it naturally has a wider hole around the stem. That's why we don't want to pull the stem completely out, because doing that just makes the mushroom more soggy when it cooks. So I'm going to be putting these into the oven for about 20 minutes. Honestly, it just depends on how these can easily burn, so you just have to watch out for them. When they start browning and crispening is that a word? Then you know when to pull them out. And that is the end of my garlic butter mushroom tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll use this recipe in the future. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, do those things.